Lady Charmaine, and my guest today is one of the stars of Lifetime Television's Preacher's Daughters. And he's here today to talk about their second season. I want you to help me welcome Mr. NIKITA Koloff to the show. How you doing, and welcome.
You know, I'm doing marvelous, Lady Charmaine. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome, and congratulations on the second season of the show.
Well, I appreciate it. I guess the viewers liked it well enough in season one that it warranted a season two. So we feel honored to be a part of it.
Now, did you expect this show to be so successful when you first started filming?
Well, no, you don't really know. I mean, you hope it is. Of course, that's the plan, but you don't know for sure until it airs, and then you begin to get viewer feedback, and certainly as I witnessed what the viewing or the fans, the viewers were saying in season one. Certainly, it was just a variety of positive feedback, and the difference that we were making with it that was great that they decided to make a season two.
Now, for those who do not know about the show or not familiar with the show, can you kind of tell us about the show? I watched the show since the first season, so I know. But for those who are not familiar.
Well, just a quick snapshot if they're unfamiliar. Really, Preacher's Daughters is just a kind of a bird's eye view, if you will, or an inside look at the life of preachers' children. And of course, my daughter Colby, along with several other young ladies, just a reality check of what life is like being the daughter of a preacher, and kind of life lived through their eyes. And it shows the good, bad, and the ugly. Meaning, they see that these young ladies face, the same temptations that any other teenage girl would face, whether they were the daughter of a preacher or not. And so it kind of just gives the viewer a look at that. And then lastly, through our faith in the Lord, how we deal with those life situations, those temptations, and other things that confront all of us.
So I want to know, why did you decide to do the show? A lot of times you have some men that may shy away from reality, but you didn't. So why did you decide to do this show with all of your daughters? Because I'm going to ask you later on, do you feel outnumbered with all those females in your family? So why did you decide to do the show?
Well, yeah, I've said for many years I feel like I've been swimming in the sea of estrogen, but but it's all been good. No complaints. I think I've navigated the drama quite well, and I've learned a lot from those young ladies. And so, but all that said, just through prayer as a family, when the opportunity came up last year to be a part of season one, and honestly, again, a part of season two, as a family, we said that we're all in this together, or we're not in it at all. And so we just felt from season to season that it was something that we were really led of the Lord to do, to, again, just give people, a view, and perhaps dispel some of the misconceptions of being a preacher's kid, while at the same time, like I said earlier, showing the reality of what these young ladies and what preachers' kids in general do face.
So for you, being a former wrestler turned preacher, I want to know, how did that happen?
We don't have enough time, Lady Charmaine. they'll have to go to NIKITAKOLOFF.com and read the whole story, but the Cliff Note version would be, and obviously it is polar opposite ends of the world, from professional wrestling to worldwide evangelists. But the truth of that is, and the reality of that is, I walked away from wrestling after a storied career, and just realized, that the fame and fortune still left me missing something, still left a void, an emptiness in my life, and found myself 17 October 1993 at an altar, surrendering my life to the Lord. And my gosh, it's never been the same. It's been an amazing journey.
Well, that is an amazing journey to go from there to where you are now. And that's the one thing I love about the Lord. He can call you no matter where you are and call you out of it because he had a call in your life. And he took you from everyone knowing you as a wrestler to now a worldwide evangelist. So you still have a platform. Yeah. You're just preaching Jesus. He has a way of doing things.
Well, absolutely. And that's exactly right. Someone asked me the other day, hey, if you've given up that old, the wrestling platform is not something you give up. I mean, I'll always be the wrestler, Nikita Koloff, but I'm not wrestling, at least not that opponent. I used to be known as the Russian Nightmare. Now I'm the Devil's Nightmare. Okay?
I love it.
You like that? But the fact is, it is wrestling. Pro wrestling has a worldwide appeal, and it has become a tremendous worldwide platform that I can give him honor. And now, with the show on Lifetime, Preacher's Daughter, it just gives me another venue. Having been 20 years removed from television, now I'm reaching a whole, it's interesting. I'm reaching a whole new audience now because I have young ladies who will look at me and go, hey, you're that preacher guy. They don't have a clue that I'm a wrestler or was a wrestler, right? Nothing. But they'll go, you're that preacher guy on Preacher's Daughters. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And now their parents know. It's funny because their dads go, he's a wrestler. They go, what? Huh? So it's funny.
And the kids know you as a preacher, so it's amazing how two different generations know you as something different.
Yes, it really is. I'm completely humbled by it. But at the same time, it just, again, opens up so many more doors to reach and impact a whole another generation through, for the kingdom through the TV show. So it's been a fun journey.
Now, as a dad, what is it like for you raising a teenage daughter on screen? I know you don't get a lot of screen time, but seeing your daughter and, of course, your ex-wife, but what is it like for you?
Well, I'm blessed. I mean, I really am. When I look at all four of our girls and just kind of where they're at in their walk in life, and especially Colby being the youngest and, probably facing the most temptation. They all faced temptations growing up, of course. We all do. It seems like in today's world, the young people are inundated now through social media, through the internet, through television, through movies, with just barraged by all the temptations of life. And to see Colby, walking the walk she is, and just her heart for the Lord and the impact she's making on young girls. She recently, for those who may not be aware, teamed up with Sadie Robertson of Duck Dynasty fame and developed their own YouTube channel called The New Different. And it's just a weekly little short Bible study that these two gals do. And man, they're touching people's hearts, and it's awesome to watch and be a part of.
Wow, so that is awesome. And I want to know from you, since your daughter's doing all that, what advice would you give to parents raising teenage daughters, and especially those who have who are in Christian households and their children aren't doing as well as what your daughter is doing?
Well, we as parents, we do the best we can. Hopefully, we make the best choices and decisions for our children. Obviously, at different stages of their life, and pouring into them. And of course, the word says, train up that child in the way they should go, and the way being in the admonition and the respect and love and praises of the Lord, serving the Lord and surrendering their heart to Him, and ultimately they have to make that decision. But we, hopefully as parents, we model that. And I tell you, I was so blessed recently by Kendra, my 21-year-old, when she handed me at Christmas time a letter that just really thanked me for modeling. One of the things she said in the letter was, Dad, I really want to thank you for modeling for me what my future husband is going to look like. And you want to talk about something humbling, man, that brought me to tears and just really humble. Thanked me for speaking into her life spiritually, teaching her. I'm a health nut, so I've been speaking into her physically, as I have with all the girls. But to the parents out there, if you've made that decision to serve the Lord and then raise your children in the admonition of the Lord, your hope and your prayer is that when they get out there into the real world, so to speak, that they don't forget what they've been taught, and that word has not returned void, and they begin to live out and walk out the life of being a Christ follower. That's the ultimate blessing I think any parent could receive.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you just gave some great advice, but I want to know, what do you want the audience to take away from viewing your family on television?
Well, my hope is that, I know from season 1 what they saw was really redemption, restoration, reconciliation. There were a period of years there through us being a divorced family that their mother and I didn't have a lot of communication, and actually the show was instrumental in reconnecting their mother and I together in terms of communicating and reestablishing a friendship, and of course that has continued through season 2. And so my hope is, come the end of the season, don't judge it on one episode or on one event or on one family. You have to watch the whole entire season. And my hope and my prayer, if the editors did things the right way, that come the conclusion of the season, that at least for the Koloff family, once again, they'll see redemption, reconciliation, restoration of relationships. They'll see real life issues that were addressed from a faith-based perspective. And my hope is that for all the families, don't misunderstand me, but I believe that's for sure what they'll see with the Koloff family come the end of the season. That's my hope and prayer.
That is absolutely beautiful how you used all of those. And that's what people need to see, because reality should be reality. You have so many people going through so many issues in the Christian home as well. Some people think when you're a Christian, you don't have any problems. Everything for you should just be perfect. We have the same issues everyone else have, but we have God to help us get through them. And we use the avenue of prayer to bring us peace and to help give us answers. We read our word. And that's the thing that people in the world don't use, but that's what we use to get us through. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, especially dealing with forgiveness, restoration, and redemption, where the world will be able to see the love of God shine through your family. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, I just always appreciate you having me on, and for the families out there, Lady Charmaine, I just want to say for the families, maybe they're not Christ followers, but they're tuned in, they're watching and seeing it. And part of my hope would be too that through the show, if they're not Christ followers, that they'll, it'll prick their heart, that will lead them in that direction, and see that there is a bigger picture to this thing we call life, and chasing after what I call the empty chase, the fame and the fortune. And see that at the end of the day, it really just comes down to a relationship with Jesus Christ, and that if your life is built upon that rock and your family is built upon that, it doesn't matter what storm of life comes. With Christ, you can overcome it. And that's, I'll kind of end on that note. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. And I want to remind the audience to make sure you watch Preacher's Daughters Wednesdays on Lifetime at 9/8 Central. Again, thank you so much, Nikita.